Hello lovely people! Can a screen-free family do Disneyland? What a random video, Jessica. Yes, I realise it's a niche, but this was really applicable to my family and I'm sure it will be to others. Maybe you're considering a trip to Disneyland. Maybe you only have occasional screen usage in your household and you're worried about whether a trip to Disney will increase the interest in screens from your children. Or you're just intrigued by how screen-free and Disneyland mesh together. Perhaps you'd like to know how many actual screens there are at Disneyland. Okay, I didn't count them, but not that many. It's actually a great number of live shows and fun things to do. My wife Claudia, our 2-year-old Rupert and I were fortunate enough to be invited on a last-minute trip to Disneyland Paris to see a new live show that's just opened with a live orchestra and various types of dance, which obviously Rupert absolutely adored, and we are a screen-free family. In this video I'm going to be breaking down what screen-free means, why my toddler still loves Disney princesses, and showing you some of our experience at Disneyland as well as giving you an overview. I do want to say right off the bat though that I don't love moral judgments being put on different parenting styles. I mean, as long as we're loving our children, trying our hardest and doing our best to raise happy, balanced adults, then we're good. What works for my family might not work for someone else's, but that just makes the world a more interesting and diverse place, right? She says in an attempt to wield off the "it's the horrific your child doesn't know who Peppa Pig is" comments. But watch to the end to see why I'm now a hardcore Disneyland fan and particularly a fan of the people who work at the park. What does screen-free mean? Well, different families are screen-free for different reasons and to different degrees. A family may feel that not having screens, that could be TVs, laptops, iPads and phones, available to children allows them to pursue other more challenging interests more easily, since they aren't then having to actively choose not to go for the screens and pick up the colouring book instead, or that without the screens the family can spend more time engaging in activities together. It might be that the parents just weren't raised with screens and so they don't feel that they want that to be part of their children's childhood either. Perhaps they're a super outdoorsy family and it just doesn't fit with their lifestyle. Maybe they've had bad experiences themselves and worry about the internet. Or maybe they just think, hey, that's something for when they're older. It's also really vital for developing brains to learn a lot of concepts through hands-on 3D activities and just, putting their hands into little dirt. Little dirt? No, little hands into dirt. Dirt. Dirt and hands. My child's like, ugh, there's dirt. Clean it. And a family might be screen-free to different degrees. Maybe they're just screen-free for under 2-year-olds. Maybe there are no screens unless they're education related. No screens unless you're on a 12-hour flight. Screens only for FaceTime, looking at photos of family who are far away. Or no personal screens like iPads for the kids, but we can all gather to watch a family movie on the TV in the living room once a week. And as a parent with health issues, I know lots of parents in similar situations who vary activities depending on their ability that day. I do a lot of puzzles and doll's houses and crafting with Rupert when I'm feeling good, but if I'm too unwell or in pain to sit up, he just lies next to me while we read 5,000 books. Some parents only use screens on those bad days. Oh my gosh, and whatever you have to do to get your children's teeth brushed, you do it. All bets off the table. Anything goes, except for giving them more sugar, obviously. That would be counterintuitive and unhelpful. They might complain about teeth brushing now, but they will be so thankful later when they've got perfect teeth and never had gum disease, okay? Just do it. For us, we personally don't see a lot of benefits from introducing Rupert to screens. He is a very independent player. A lot of the time, you just sit him down with some small figures and my goodness, the rich world of stories he can create with them. Equally, he can spend 45 minutes on a good puzzle or a jigsaw just kind of muttering to himself as he puts the pieces together. Oh, and he does not want your help. Do not even try to get involved. I mean, if you try to put a piece of his puzzle down, he will pick it up, put it where it originally was, and then put it in place himself. The same thing happens if you try to do it with the Velcro of his shoes or try to take his clothes off. He will put them back on and then he will take them back off again, just to say that he did it, not you. It takes a while to leave the house. But he also still really enjoys books, and he always has. I can definitely see how there are many moments where books have saved us that if he didn't have that huge love, we would really need just to put something else in his lap to kind of keep him calm or occupied whilst we're dealing with a crisis or on a 4-hour car journey or someone is bleeding profusely and he's just turning the pages quietly. He knows that our phones take photos and he asks to have his photo taken sometimes, but he generally isn't that interested in seeing the result after one glance. He FaceTimes my parents on a laptop screen occasionally, and he likes getting new photos from family in Asia, but mainly he likes them being printed out so he can just hold them and display them. He tends to say "Mama's working" if he sees me using my phone, which is generally true because we try not to use our phones around him. I also have a deaf-related fear that even though my new hearing aids are really good, if I'm distracted by looking down, I might miss something and then he'll be in danger. Yes, slightly irrational first-time parent fears apparently don't go away after the first 2 years. That's a learning curve. It is worth noting though that we only have one child and he is currently a toddler, so perhaps things will change as he ages and we have more children. So, why does he love Disney princesses? Because they're secretly great and you shouldn't believe the Oppo research? Growing up, I had a bit of an in this world, not of this world experience with respect to children's media culture. I don't even know the names of most of the TV shows that were popular with kids in the 90s, and I definitely didn't know the names of the characters themselves, which kind of made playground talk a bit awkward. In my family, the only time we were allowed to have books or toys at the table was breakfast, and that was the newspaper. So I went to primary school each morning kind of primed to talk about political coups. Ha! Like a pretentious pain in the bum, I'm sure. Oh dear. But kind of lacking a basic knowledge of the useful stuff, like who or what are Phineas and Ferb? Is that the one with plants? The one with mice? The one with funny shaped heads? Wait, no, that's all of them. The point is, it's really useful to be able to share a knowledge base with other children. It's part of feeling like you belong with everyone else. And it can also be just really, really helpful in situations where, hey, maybe you don't both speak the same language or your ability to verbalize doesn't match the other child's, but at least you can both point at this little figure and sort of feel a bond. Which brings me to, so you're a screen-free family, Jessica. Why is your child in love with Disney princesses? Thanks to these girls. I know, they look slightly terrifying. Well, so we were in Malaysia visiting Claude's side of the family back in January, and whilst there we stopped into a baking supplies shop so that her aunt could grab some bread flour, and right at Rupert's height there were some intriguing cake toppers. If you squint, they are the Disney princesses, but don't look too closely because some of them have red eyes. And they look like they've seen a lot, and now they want you to as well. He fell in love. He wanted to know their names. He wanted to know their colours. He wanted to know their stories. And because it was easier for Claude and I to kind of keep track of which name we had given to which girl and what their stories were, we just went with their Disney names. But historically accurate backstories. He carried them around Malaysia and he could play with them with other children even if they were years apart in age or spoke completely different languages. These princesses have now been to 4 different countries, including England and Malaysia and Singapore and layover on the way back, but it sounds way fancier if I say it that way. And they've all now got holes in the bottom. There used to be 8 of them and there are now 4. So for his birthday, my longtime friend and sign language interpreter Ruth Ann super sweetly brought back a set of princess figurines from her trip to Disneyland. The princesses. And wow, is he besotted. These princesses are by far his #1 toy. They have complex little social lives. They get married to each other. They have different best friends like every day. Occasionally, one of them is a mum to the others. Occasionally one of them's a boy. Sometimes someone's getting crowned. Because yes, he did watch the coronation of Charles III live on TV. Mainly he loved the horses. With us and also his grandfather, who remembered watching the previous Queen's coronation on television 70 years ago. We thought that was an important family moment for the two of them to kind of share, and it was really beautiful. Rupert spent most of that TV time doing a sticker book about historical monarchs from around the globe. So in case you were wondering who's winning in the nature/nurture fight, oh yes, this child was born from my heart, not my body, and yet is me. With the new set of princesses, we're introduced some figures he hadn't previously met. Mulan and Pocahontas, which is great, because then I have jumping off points to teach him about even more world culture. Like a nerd. Are they perfect representations? No. But, you know, no one person is a perfect representation of an entire culture, nor should they be. And B, he's a 2-year-old. His concepts need to be simplified for him. He didn't, however, have any idea that his little figures were anything beyond toys until my brother and his wife came to visit and sang every Princess's key song to him. And then he knew the princesses came with songs. And then once they left, he requested that we sing the songs. We did not live up to his expectations. Sadly, his mummies did not do show choir as teenagers and could not live up to the high standard that had been set. So we introduced the top tier Disney songs into his music rotation, which otherwise just consists of ballet music and his favourites: Stevie Wonder, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong and Bob Marley. It's an interesting mix. He loved them. But he still didn't actually experience any Disney in the traditional sense. So when we were invited to Disneyland Paris to see the premiere of a brand new show they're opening, Together, a Pixar musical adventure, I was more than a little nervous. I've never been to a Disney theme park before, or any big theme park. I don't really know what it's like. What if he completely freaks out seeing people in costume? What if it's too loud or overstimulating for him? I don't know why I'm saying him, could be me. Well, spoiler alert, it turns out children do not need any prior knowledge to have a magical time at Disneyland.
That's where we are. We're in Disney.
It's absolutely stunning and gorgeous and amazing.
These are not my glasses.
No, they're clearly not.
Guess.
No, they came from my handbag because someone forgot hers.
I didn't. They're in the hotel room. It was cloudy when we came, and now it's really, really hot and sunny. It's like 32 degrees or something.
Literally, the weather report told you it was going to be 32 degrees. You sent it to me.
Literally every minute I spend in this heat, I'm like, it's a degree warmer. Like 2 minutes ago, I was like, it's 30 degrees, it's 31 degrees, it's 32 degrees.
It's 30 degrees. By the end of filming, she'll be like 33.
Rupert is adorably just sort of more amused at pushing his own buggy than anything else so far.
No, yeah.
But we haven't actually got in, so, you know, we'll see.
He hasn't seen anything yet, really, just some flowers and fancy buildings. So we just watched the Disney Stars on Parade, and so we're also walking past Sleeping Beauty's castle, Princess Aurora's castle, and it's so beautiful. I keep actually just stopping and staring at it. Like, it's gorgeous. Anyway, so we were watching this parade, and for the first bit, Rupert was like, yeah, this is a lot, this is a lot, And then the princesses came out, and he was like, the joy I have never seen. I was like, oh my God. I almost cried at his own joy. It was very beautiful. I'm obsessed with the attention to detail here. How everywhere has a different fence. Like, they just attach to each other. Like, suddenly it's this super rugged, like, Aladdin fence.
Well, it's Disneyland. It's a land of different places.
I know.
Disney World is like
Main Street
different little countries.
Yeah, it's pretty small, I guess. So it makes sense. And all the different bins.
There's the palace. Even if you're not like a Disney fan, you can't help but kind of quite like it here. I mean, I don't know actually. Some people might think this is their hell, but we're enjoying ourselves.
I absolutely love it. Oh my God, I've been obsessed as a child. I'm obsessed now. It's just so cute. Like, everything is just perfect. Hello, good morning.
Saturday morning, nearly lunchtime.
It is indeed. Although we did just have breakfast under an hour ago. Today we are going to have lunch in apparently the Victorian dining rooms, which is very exciting. Then we are going to go on as many rides and see as many things as Rupert would like to do, featuring as many of the things as he would like to see.
Yeah, he's very excited.
He is. He's slightly overwhelmed, but very excited. He mainly wants to see princesses. Now, currently, we are about to go and track down Elsa. We absolutely have to do this, we must do this. This is a must do, because we left Rupert for one night one night with his granddad, and granddad put Frozen on. Elsa is now queen in the house. It's Queen Elsa. And seeing Elsa is number one priority. Must be done. Yesterday, that was loud enough, I heard that. Yesterday we saw a parade and Elsa was on it. And Rupert was like, oh, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. And then Elsa came out and it was like, amazing, yes. So, now he knows Elsa is here. And we must find her again. So we're going to find her for him. He's asleep, so he's going to miss the, oh no, she's not here. Where is she? Long walking. And he will wake up and Elsa will be there. We have now missed the Frozen show twice because we showed up with only 25 to 30 minutes before its advertised start time rather than a longer gap. No, we are going to be there. It's going to happen. We're going to make this happen. The only thing he wants to see is Elsa. Oh, I take that back. Sorry. I've been corrected. And Anna. And Anna. That is what we're meant to be doing today. And then we are going to the really cool Pixar show in the evening. But today's task is finding Anna. So, incredibly, I have gone through both pairs of shoes. My feet are all blistered, but I do have some Disney-branded hotel slippers to wear to this rather fancy event premiere that we're here for. And now we're supposed to be taking lovely photos in my slippers. Did I know there would be photos? No, I didn't. But look how gorgeous my wife looks. She's ready. She's ready.
Let's go.
Hello. We are...
Au revoir. Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonjour. So we saw the most incredible performance.
I know, it was like, I've never seen anything like
Sorry,
it.
we have to yell at you.
The music's always so
still
loud
music
at Disney.
playing. It was called
Together.
It's a musical Pixar Adventure.
It was great. Yeah, you can have photo
It was really
opportunities there.
great.
Basically, we've like in the park.
And now we're in the park,
to, like, the
and there's
PR
no one here.
We went to the PR dinner, and
Look.
the park is closed. And the other people who were at the event.
Yeah, okay, it was the other people who were at the event. But still, like, but we should go to all of the photo opportunity spots, Claudia, quick. It was just it was a really, really sweet performance. And really interesting because it had, like, characters and a live orchestra, which was very nice to have because Rupert really enjoys seeing actual instruments being played, and had LED screens that were showing, like, interspersed with the live action, as if making the live action be more magical. The magical things you can't actually do with a human being. It's really, yeah, it was really lovely. It worked really well. And then things like came into the audience as well, like bubbles and streamers. It's delightful. Good morning.
Good morning.
We had a quite dramatic end to our evening.
Dramatic. After roaming around, what was the last thing that you saw? It was like going, wow, we're in the park and it's like empty and we're like so lovely. You needed some shoes, so we thought we'd split and conquer, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
You went to the shop with Rupert. I went to like the last diner place I could go to that was still serving food and could do takeout food. And then I was in the diner waiting for Jessica's chips, and suddenly there's this phone call from Jessica, and all I can hear is just going, Claudia, come, and Rupert screaming.
With the background of screaming.
Well, clearly Rupert has fallen over and hurt himself quite badly, and she needs help. But I was like, I don't really know where they are, other than she said she was going to the shop called the World of Disney. So I was like, I've got to go. Basically looked around the shop, expecting to see like a child screaming or hear it, and all I could hear was like Disney music playing and other people just happily shopping. And I'm like, are they in the shop? Did they fall over on the street? And then I saw these like shop people holding up like basically like curtains. And I was like, and then just between the gap of the curtain, I could see like blood everywhere on the edge of Jessica's skirt. And I was like, oh my god! And I like, rushed in. I was like, I'm his mummy. And
Because what had happened is that Rupert and I were just walking around the shop together, hand in hand, perfectly fine. He's a very happy little chap. He doesn't run, he doesn't pull, nothing. He just trots around as he does. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, my arm goes, whoop, and I'm like, whoop. He just smacks, poof, and then he started crying. And there wasn't really anyone else around. And normally when he hits the floor, we just give him a moment, see whether he can stand up by himself, whether he needs us.
He normally doesn't like it with fuss.
He does not like if you get down and go, oh, are you okay, darling? You're right.
He normally just gets up and goes, I'm better now. It's like, okay.
So I just gave him a moment, what's happened. And then he kind of lifted his head up and there was a pool of blood underneath him. And I was like, So I picked him up.
And this is like the
just
one...
like scooped him.
This is like the one moment we've been separated.
For one moment.
Right.
And he starts going, and blood is going out of his nose across me. And I'm like, looking around. There's no one around. Because we'd just gone into the little side bit. So I step out of it and I'm just like, help, help, help. And these poor Disney employees turn around like, huh? And they were so great. You could see as soon as they saw the blood, they were like, mobilize, come together. We've been trained for this.
And they all held out these like curtain poles.
And they ran over and they were like, Anglais, Francais. Just like, what do you speak?
Yeah.
And I'm like, English. And so they were like yelling this one name of this man. Clearly was the man in the shop who speaks French, who speaks English. And he like ran over and bless his heart. Like, he spoke English, but not the English of, like, distressed mother with bleeding toddler. So he came over.
Just like, what would you like to buy?
What would you like to buy? Do you enjoy it in pink? Do you want it in purple? So he came over. Enjoy. So he came over and sat with me and was trying to, like, help me, talk me through it. And he was like, yes, we have the medic on the way. Don't worry. What do you need? Do I get you some water? All of these things. And I was like, that's my buggy. Get the buggy, because the buggy had flown places.
By the time
get the
I
buggy,
came
get the bag,
over,
get everything out.
Rupert was still crying, but definitely not screaming his head off.
No.
But Jessica was looking quite shaken up. And like there was
he
just
was on
like
my lap.
the French man and you were just like clutching like rolls and rolls of kitchen towel.
The amount of tissue we tried to hold to this child's face, and he had just been like, bash, no.
Yeah, so anyway,
we need to hold it to your face.
He was mainly in shock, but I took him off Jessie, and then I managed to calm him down. I mean, he's had a nosebleed like that. It basically was like a massive nosebleed, but we weren't sure if he had like broken his teeth or like broken something in his face.
It comes out.
It was just like big clots were coming out of his nose. He was wearing a white t-shirt with Proud on it.
That didn't help. The white t-shirt,
like soaked with red. It was basically a red t-shirt.
And my blue sparkly dress is gone.
But bless him, he's so sweet. I just basically tried to like distract him by saying, let's clean your hands, look at your hands, they've got sticky red on them.
I tried to distract him by getting his little princesses out.
Oh, bless him, he's so good, he's very good.
But then they got covered in blood and that distressed him more.
So it was like a murder scene,
idea.
to be honest. We managed to calm him down. Oh yeah, amazingly, the winning thing to calm him down was the shop people gave him like a clean, brand new Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
I gave him a free t-shirt because his was so gross.
And he was just like, Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, he's like, I got a Mickey Mouse t-shirt. Whilst coughing up blood, loads of blood. But at least it
they were like,
down.
yes, it's red.
Good choice. They got him a red
Good
t-shirt.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh
no, bless him. And then he was so sweet. And then he was back to his happy to himself. And then we went to the first aid room, and they like helped wipe all the blood off his face and just check he didn't have any lacerations. He had a bit on his lip, but nothing too much. And then we obviously just had to make sure like he slept okay and like didn't have signs of concussion. But I slept in the bed with him, and then this morning he woke up and he was like happy little Larry, just back to his normal self, no bruising, miraculously, like literally only just a tiny little bump on his lip.
His face last night looked all so
like
red and swollen.
Like,
I was
eyes.
fully expecting him to wake up with like black hair.
It was an intense
looking horrendous, but
No, they just luckily
His healing
toddlers.
power is
And
so
thank God
good.
his teeth didn't get knocked out or broken, like, because that would be like actually a trip to hospital. So yeah, an eventful end to our trip. But
It's been an eventful
there's no
end.
other way than we always have eventful.
How the Kellgren-Fozards travel.
That's how we travel.
How we do it.
Along with always having to buy an emergency pair of shoes. In this
Yeah.
case, you had some slippers.
I did. Some helpful, complimentary, beautiful slippers. But I think we should definitely thank the Disney team for their stellar work last night dealing with a distressed toddler. Like, they snapped into action.
Yeah.
That was so fast and they were so good.
Anyway, but other than that, we've had a really, really lovely time.
It's been so nice. It's been so lovely. There are so many things that I'm a bit like, oh, wow, he would love that. He's too young for it, but he would love it. So we will have to do this next time.
Right, let's go to the shop and find him a tiny Elsa and it'll make everything better.
Everything's better with tiny Elsas.